Hello everyone, this is a video about finding the area of trapezoids. So here is a trapezoid, and this is also a trapezoid. A trapezoid has one set of parallel sides. So here and here are parallel, just like here and here are parallel. Remember, a parallelogram has two sets of parallel sides, like a square or a rectangle or a figure that looks like the state of Tennessee. There are two ways to find the area of a trapezoid. One way is to decompose, and what that means is you break it into parts. So I'm going to take this figure right here and break it into two triangles and one rectangle. I can find the area of each piece and add it together to find the total area. Similarly, with this guy over here, I could divide it into a little tiny rectangle and then also a triangle and find the area of those two spaces and add them together for the total area. That's decomposing. There is also a formula, and I will show you how it's derived, but for right now, here it is. The area is 1/2 times the height times base 1 plus base 2. Now, this right here could be base 1, or it could be base 2, and similarly, this could be base 1 or base 2. It doesn't really matter. So first, let's make sure when you look at these shapes, you know what they are, so you know what formula to use. So I think if you see this, you know, oh, that's a parallelogram. That's just base times height. And this is also a parallelogram. So again, you would do base times the height to find the area. Here's our triangle. That would be base times height divided by 2. And then each of these is a trapezoid because it has one set of parallel sides. Sometimes this shape is confusing, but if you turn it like this, you're like, oh yeah, that looks like a trapezoid. So remember, with any figure, you can turn it around to make it easier. So I've seen students take their papers when they have worksheets and just turn them so it looks like what they're familiar with. Here is one example. So here's our formula. The area is 1/2 times the height times the sum of the bases. So I've written the formula here, and I'm going to ask for the practice that you do today that either use a whiteboard or paper or something to actually write down the formula and substitute the values in. It's really important. So here we go. First, I would say, well, 1/2 times the height. Well, here's the height times the sum of the bases. And I wrote 6 plus 8. I could have written 8 plus 6, same thing. And then I would probably find the sum of the bases, which 6 plus 8 is 14. And then when I get to this point, I have three numbers to multiply, 1/2 times 4 times 14. I can do it in any order. So I might say 1/2 times 4, or half of 4 is 2, and then 2 times 14 is 28. Or I could do 4 times 14, which is 56, and then multiply by 1/2. I'd still get 28 inches squared. Remember, when you're multiplying by 1/2, that's the same as dividing by 2. So I could say, what's half of 4? Or I could say, well, 4 divided by 2. That's all for now.